stretch to the edge. What a hurl by Jackson! Highlight reel touchdown! The seed is going to be Louisville and Brian. Louisville, national champions.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Third Banner Pod. It's me, Ty. I'm back after my, 3-week hiatus. I'm back.
Guess
I don't even know why you were gone.
Guess who's
Dude.
back? Guess who's back?
Yeah, I feel like MJ, man. I'm back at 45, though, not 23. I'm just too old. But anyways, I'm back, better than ever, off baby leave. And I'm joined tonight by Kyle, Connor, and Pat. What's up, fellas? How's your Friday night been?
I'm just so upset with the world today. It's just depressing. Like, you just can't get people to work. Like, I heard a horrible story about a hospital that's really struggling to find employment.
Yeah.
And you just can't get people to work. They say they're going to come in, they clock in, they leave.
It's just terrible, dude.
And they get a DUI while they're on the clock.
Nah, that's the worst. I hate it when I get a DUI on the job. You know what I mean?
Well,
Pat.
bartender. Well, you shouldn't drive. Never mind. Let's just
We do not
continue.
condone drinking and driving.
Yeah, we do not.
Yeah, I had to take the wife out for dinner tonight after the bad news for her today. So try to cheer her up.
Pat, I don't know how you do it, man. I've said it a million times, but I don't know how you're married to a UK fan. I don't know how you do it.
Pat, my question is, when you got out of the shower today, did you use the UK towel after today's news, or was that available? Or
Well, for one, no, I don't know where it is right now. It's probably still in the wash. It was put in the wash before our big TBT game on purpose.
that thing's been in the wash for 2 weeks now, bro. What's going on here?
It's probably been
It's
recycled.
still dirty.
But yeah.
No detergent for that, brother.
But also, there's no. I save it for big games, man. And the next time it doesn't work for a big game, it's just going straight in the trash, though. So
That's probably where I would put it first, but to each their own. But
I can remember. Yeah. I thought about the first time I ever used it. And we have a towel closet
already.
We have a towel closet. It was back in Lamar's year. It was the Florida State game. Our towel. I take the shower and I'm like, crap, I don't have a towel. I go to the towel closet. I'm dripping all over the floor, and the only thing in there is the UK towel. And I'm like, do I want to go all the way to find a towel down in the dryer or just use this? And I used it, and then we won 70-21 or whatever it was.
63-21, but who's counting?
Yeah. So I was like, all right, there might be something to this. And I think the only game we've lost with it is a Clemson game, which we can never beat Clemson. I will never use it when we play Kentucky, though. I feel that reverse games.
Well, okay, now here's the thing, and I don't want to spend too much time on UK towel, but you said we haven't used it for any UK games. Pat, I don't know if you've noticed, brother, but I hate them, but they're killing us in recent years. Maybe it's time to change it up.
But dude, if I use that towel and UK wins the game, you'd have to put me in a mental hospital, man. I'd be so.
Well, that's the point. You shouldn't be using it to begin with.
Hopefully, we don't have to put you in Lexington, Kentucky State Hospital because they just don't have any employees to work it. But
I'd be dead.
Anyways, let's look at the chat tonight. Hey, we got a lot of people in chat tonight so far. Derek says, "Well, go Cards." What's up, Derek? Robbie says, "Good evening." So we hate watching. Who we hate watching, man? What's going on tonight? Is there something I'm not aware of? Is it La Familia? Are they playing tonight or something?
Yeah, I really don't know. I assume that's who he's talking about.
Robbie, let us know who you're talking about.
Once
Guy
we
Wes-
lost, I didn't really
My
care.
guy, hey Wes, guess what? Somebody from my work texted me, and guess what they told me? They said they had an extra brisket in the freezer, and that they're not going to cook it, so that they're going to give it to me. So I know. I had to tell you because you say I'm obsessed with brisket, which you might be right, but
Oh, you're obsessed with brisket, but
I love it,
that's
man.
okay. That's
Favorite
fine.
He loves his meat.
he does. Couch House UK fans awful quiet about 2021 football today. Yeah, they're the copium out of that fan base today is something else. Robbie says you're gonna
Remember,
over
those games count.
game tonight. So I guess it is La Familia. Wait, where he says I'm ready to run through a wall.
yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about
it for sure, and we're gonna try to get you guys in. So here's the deal tonight. We're gonna talk about the Calgary game, kind of give our thoughts, recap what things we've noticed. We're also gonna kind of wrap up and summarize the last two, obviously the two games and our trip to the Bahamas, and then we want to bring you guys in. We want to bring you all in. Come in here, come on the show, talk to us, let us know what you think. We'll drop the link for you. Don't be scared. No stage fright. Just come in here and talk to us, man. Let us know what you think. So just catching up on a few more comments and we're going to get talking about it. Kyle been cooking on Twitter today. Kyle, you have had a few. This has been an interesting week for you on Twitter for sure.
I just had enough of the same old jokes. So I thought that's it. I've had the ability to do this and I've just been holding it back for a long time. I'm like, you know what? Screw this. And then this happens today. And I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you, sports gods, for the timing. Thank you for the timing. It couldn't have worked out any better.
Now, Trent. Trent, who's the three, bro?
Yeah.
Who's the three?
That's what I wondered.
Because last time I checked, there's four of us up here, Trent. So who's the three? And then Connor, you were saying something. What's up?
It's funny that Mitch Barnhart sits on the committee that essentially brought down the vacation of wins.
Is it like a football committee or something for like infractions? Is that what you're saying?
I think he is in the room with the infractions committee in a way.
Oh, well, of course he was unaware.
Yeah,
totally unaware.
No idea.
No idea. No clue. Just
nobody knows
That's
what goes
news to
on
him.
at that hospital.
No.
But now we do. Anyways, let's forget UK football. We don't care. We're moving on. So, guys, yesterday we played University of Calgary in an exhibition game in the Bahamar Summer League. The Bahamar Summer League. Who would have ever thought that we would be paying so much attention to the Bahamar Summer League? But here we are.
There were 10,000 people that were watching at noon yesterday.
I'm ready for season two of Louisville basketball. Season one ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And now I've got to wait 3 months to get to season two. It's like I'm watching a Netflix show that I just can't get enough of.
That's right.
Season 0, if we're talking in old terms.
Oh, yeah. Season 0.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's just go ahead and start. Connor, what are your thoughts on that game yesterday? What's things that stood out to you? Individual performances, plays, segments. What stood out?
Wait, this is the fastest Louisville team I've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Ever?
Yeah, ever maybe. Like Chris Mack was great. Like, fine, he got us the number 1 team in the country, but like that team was slow as hell.
Yeah. They had slow pace.
I can't tell you what Kenny did. I have no idea. I don't know what that offense was. But so I thoroughly watched Tuesday? Was that the first game?
Tuesday was the first one at 7 p.m.
Yeah, Thursday we were all at work, but the fact that we scored 222 points in 2 games is ridiculous.
I don't care who you're playing.
I don't think we scored 222 points in 5 games combined last year.
Mm-hmm. You could definitely pick 5 games where that just wasn't possible.
Yeah.
I mean, like Kyle, I don't know about you and Pat, but the ball movement is just it's out of this world. Just watching the ball movement, it never. There were times where it got a little stagnant, but that's okay because everything else, it was like bring it down the floor, immediate ball reversal, get into a little Spain action, some easy pick and roll screens.
Paint
If that
touch.
doesn't work,
Yeah.
paint touch. If that doesn't work, back out. Another pick and roll, reversal. The ball was constantly moving at all times, and it's going to make for a very, very fun offense to watch.
And if you don't have a dunk off the offensive rebound, you throw it back out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, my wife is pumped because I was telling her about the game. She likes basketball, but she's not a big fan. Like she likes it when it's like an entertaining, fast-paced game. So I
The
told her, I
last
was
2
like,
years were terrible.
exactly. That's why I told her. I was like, we're not going to a game. You're not going to like it. I don't like it. And I'm a huge fan, and I don't like it. So you're not going to like it. And she doesn't understand enough about the in and outs, the intricacies of the game to really know what I mean by that. Like you guys know, if she's not a big fan, she's not going to enjoy Kenny Payne basketball or Chris Mack basketball. She didn't like Chris Mack. We went to a couple of games. She didn't like Chris Mack ball. So, but I was telling her about this style of play. I said, you cannot look away. It is that fast. And she's like, I want to go. Because that's how she is. She likes the fast style of basketball play. And I mean, everybody does, but like I think some casual fans that don't watch as much can find this entertaining. And then the basketball junkies like us are just like over the moon. It's like this is basketball savant. Almost like it's incredible having one collective mind where everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
I don't know what just happened. My computer just went black. And
No, you're back now. You're
Yeah.
looking good. Pat, what were your thoughts?
I mean, Kyle and I were on here Wednesday, and we said we wanted to see the same type of ball movement, same decision making that we saw in Wednesday's game or Tuesday's game, Thursday, against better competition. And listen, that team was better. You could tell the team we played yesterday.
They almost beat Yale last year.
The team we played.
And Yale beat Auburn.
They almost beat. They kept it close with Yale and Wichita State in 4 games combined, and they brought back their 7 leading scorers from last year.
Like that.
They're a solid team, and we looked just as good, made just as good decisions. The shot chart was like impeccable for analytical basketball. Everything within like 5 feet of the basket or behind the 3-point line. And again, I want to reiterate, we're talking about a team that has not been together very long, has not had substantial practices. They're doing a lot of individual work, probably playing a lot of pickup ball, and they already look really good. Are there things that they could do better? I'm sure Pat Kelsey will find plenty of things that they need to
I'm sure
work
he's pissed about the defense from yesterday.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
But I mean, as a fan, how can you not be excited? I can't even get like the detractors out there that, whether it's UK fans or cautious U of L fans, they can't even get me down off my high of how excited I was to watch this team and with the results. And I'm not talking about winning by 40. I'm talking about what the basketball looked like.
Yeah.
It's a good
Kyle,
way to
you
describe
look
it.
like you had something to say about
No, that's not really, but that's a good way to describe it is it just looked like fundamental basketball. I've seen where you can beat a bad exhibition team by 20 points and still not look great doing it. It's just that they're terrible. But you also
like when we played Simmons last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Simmons. We beat Ben Simmons College by 22, but it was a slog. It didn't look good. There was a year that Chris Mack team that went 12-20 that he ended up resigning in the middle of the year. I think they started the year by beating the holy dog snot out of 2 exhibition teams. And I remember there was somebody that said they had more talent on that team than the national championship team. They put it on the message boards. I'll never forget because, good Lord, I wish he would quit doing that. My computer I get so mad. It's connected to everything. It's a Mac. It's connected to every Apple product in this house.
So every little
I mean,
text you get just shows up.
yeah, requesting more time on screen. That's always it. My stepson, and he doesn't hit it once. He hits it 10 freaking times. Anyway, so I remember that Mac year. Like there was people that thought that team had more talent than the national championship team, which I thought was crazy because I didn't think they looked good at all, despite winning by like 30 points in 2 exhibition games. I saw fundamental issues, flaws I did not like. But when I watched what I watched for the last 2 games this week, I was impressed. I was impressed with the execution. You can still see things that they can work on and improve, but they are much better off right now than I would ever expect a group of 11 newcomers who just got on campus like 2 months ago and just started individual workouts like 1 month ago. They are so much better off than I could imagine they would have ever been. And so we are starting from a much higher floor than I thought. And I don't know where the ceiling is, but I can tell you the floor is higher than I thought it was.
So one thing I noticed, I took a little notes from the game from the Calgary game.
Buddy, you fell asleep. Don't lie.
No, I did because listen, that was for noon for most people. That's not early, but for me, that's early. But I watched. I think it was the second half. They ran a simple baseline out of bounds play where Chucky threw it in. Rain kind of like flared back to the three-point line, caught it, passed it over to Traore, and then Rain did a flare screen off of James Scott. It was like real quick, real fast, and it was executed perfectly, and Rain hit and just Rain knocked down the 3. Like it was very simple, and they weren't going to show a lot when it comes to sets and things like that, obviously, because everybody's going to be watching that game, right? Like every team in the ACC, their coaches are watching that film, just looking for anything. So they weren't going to show much. But the execution, it just seemed like, I think Terrence Oglesby said it, they weren't necessarily running sets. It was just concepts. It was simple concepts, like bring it down, reverse the ball, get into a little Spain action, pick and roll, pick and pop. If it's not there, move it. And the ball just kept moving and moving and moving. There was one possession where they reversed it like twice, and Cason Pryor caught the ball on like the top left of the 3-point line, pump fake, drove in and hit a floater.
Yeah.
And like the you could just see the defense. They're constantly rotating. They can't keep up because we have better athletes.
The only thing I saw that I didn't like was Waterman and Pryor together. The ball doesn't move as well.
Yeah.
The only thing I really noticed I didn't like, and this is a little thing, it's not a big deal. It's something that's easily correctable. When we would get a turnover and go into transition offense, for whatever reason, after a turnover, we would just hand the ball right back to them. So, like, I'd get real excited that we made a big steal or a block that ended up in somebody's or some sort of play, intercepted a pass. They were trying to kick it inside and just intercept it, run down to the other end of the court, and then we'd fumble it out of bounds or try to throw it to somebody and it bounce off their hands out of bounds. But that's like such a little thing. I do agree with the Pryor and Waterman thing. I'm guessing that was more of just like, hey, let's see what it looks like since it's an exhibition. It's our second.
It ain't going to happen very much.
I doubt that's going to be a go-to. Now, if Scott and Kanai and a bunch of those guys get in foul trouble, you could see it, and that would be a shame. But I think some of those guys, as long as they stay out of foul trouble, I don't think we're going to see Pryor and Waterman out there together too much. I think they have similar skill sets. I would say Pryor's a little better on offense, but I'd say Waterman might be better on defense. And I was not, but this is off of one game.
Yeah,
right? I was not expecting Waterman to look better on defense in Cason Pryor.
He had some really good defensive possessions. Just
I wasn't
staying in front of his
Waterman
man
to come in and spot up in the corner to start the game either.
Waterman looked good. I mean, considering he's still kind of battling through that ankle, he looked good. And like defensively, he looked good, which is surprising. The most surprising to me.
Eric Korn's corner is a real thing, brother.
You talk about Waterman shooting. Obviously, Pryor shot the ball really well this,
Case and
these
Durant.
2 games. But like you look at this team, and there's the only 2 guys that are going to get consistent minutes that you're like, okay, he'll never shoot a 3, or it'd be very rare for him to shoot a 3, are Scott and Traore. And every other person, I'm not saying every other person is going to shoot 40% from 3, but like I don't mind every other player on this team if they've got an open 3-point shot taking it. And
Even
that's
Kenai
pretty
will hit
crazy
back-to-back threes.
that you've got like 9 dudes on this team that like you're like, okay, if you've got an open 3-point shot, take it. That's nuts, especially when some of them are 6'10", 6'11", man.
And that's another thing. Shot selection. I can count on one hand in both games, maybe 2 hands when you count both games, but probably less than 10 bad shots that I saw the entire game. Now that I'm sitting here thinking, I can think of a couple of times where I was like, I probably shouldn't have shot that. Chucky, for example, threw up a really long 3 just to try it, and I was like, we didn't even have our offense set up. But like you have to really parse through and find bad shots, and there's not very many. The shot selection was incredible, and that shows.
I'm sure we got the offensive rebound when he missed the long 3 anyway.
The offensive rebounding, man, was so
Kadir
impressive.
is a monster. Kadir knows where the ball is at all times. I was wondering, like, I'm looking at like statistical comparisons, like when Omar Ballo, for example, was at Arizona, he held his own against him. He held his own against some other people. And I'm like, how in the world does a guy who's I know he has a big
He's 6'5".
wingspan.
He's
but
a position
6'5".
rebounder.
He might be 6'5" on a good day too.
He's 6'5", and he might be smaller than that. And even though he has a big wingspan, he's still only 6'5".
He must have like massive thighs.
He's
that he
one
can
of
box
those
people out.
guys that just has like he is a magnet and the ball is metal. And it's like wherever he goes, he's like attracted to the ball. You run into players like this sometimes that they just have a knack for being around the ball, and none of them are popping in my head right now as I talk about it. But there are those guys, and we have one. He absolutely can just 6 cents rebound.
From a rebounding standpoint, at least in this aspect, because I think watching film of Traore and watching these 2 games, he rebounds so well because he has the ability to read the ball and where it's going to come off the rim.
Mm-hmm.
And now Shane Bohannon had other attributes, but Shane was incredibly good at knowing where the ball was going to come off the rim too. Shane was obviously weighed a lot more, had a big old butt, could box out. But they had that same type of, and it's a unique skill, man. It's hard to do that. It's like you said, Kyle. It's kind of like, I don't even know if it's a skill. It's
6 cents, man.
You know,
I'm not saying he doesn't have skills. He doesn't know how to block out. He doesn't have the fundamental techniques you need to rebound, but it's more than that. It's not just that. It's not just hustle. It's not just boxing out. He has a 6 cents that most people don't have when it comes to rebounding. I'll tell you who else had it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who else had it. I hate to use this example.
Dwayne Sutton?
Oscar Sheboy at UK.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But he also he is another one that had a huge wingspan, and he also was taller and bigger. So it's even more impressive that, Kadir has that. And even though he has a big arm span, it's not like Oscar Sheboy. But Oscar Sheboy is a really good example of a guy who could get like 3 or 4 offensive rebounds in one set.
So, like Angel
when we were
stat padding.
Yeah. When we were going through some of the comments, this one kind of stuck out because I want to kind of segue to like individual performances because this stuff I feel like I could just talk for days. But Babu says, I don't think enough good things are being said about Chucky. He is the best on-ball defender I've seen in a long time. Also, at this pace, 11 assists to only 1 turnover in 2 games is incredible. Yeah, I know that when we were doing comments, you pointed at this one. What do you think about Chucky so far? Because defensively, man, he looks like a dog.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I love defense in my, C League YMCA days. That's what I prided myself on because I'm not extremely athletic and I can't shoot like my little brother. So it was
You're a
all
good
about
glue guy, is
getting
what I'm
up
trying
in
to
somebody on defense and shutting somebody down. So I was like floored. And I thought Chucky was awesome on defense on Tuesday, but I was floored yesterday with the start to that game and him picking up pressure about 3/4 court and just hounding the dude for the first like 6 minutes of the game. And I mean, complete lockdown. You're wearing that dude out, especially a 3-point shooting team like that. That's what you want to do to them. You want to make them work to get the ball up the court. So, yeah, from a defensive standpoint, I think that comment is exactly right. Chucky is the best on ball guard defender I think we've seen here since probably Russ Smith. Chris Jones was very good. Actually, Don was good when he was here. But no, Chucky was awesome. Then that assist to turnover ratio too is huge because Chucky wasn't extremely efficient from a shooting standpoint. But when you're doing 11-1 assists to turnovers in a fast-paced offense like this, that's incredibly efficient and incredibly impressive because
Right.
our offense is going to lead to turnovers because we're so fast that mistakes are sometimes going to be made. And also, there's so many possessions that it leads itself to more opportunities to turn the ball over. And to only have one turnover as the primary ball handler and 11 assists, that's impressive, man.
I don't care who you're playing.
No,
Right.
yeah.
Right. For me, I've been pushing this agenda for a minute now. And in these two games, man, I was so impressed. He never did anything flashy, but he just constantly made the right play over and over and over again. And I think what I saw in the Calgary game is his defensive switchability is going to be huge for this team. And that's
saw one
Javon
flashy
Hadley.
play.
It's
That
Javon
dunk.
Hadley. Well,
Oh, you're talking about Javon Hadley.
I'm talking about Javon Hadley. Now Chucky's dunk was pretty damn
That was
impressive.
disgusting. Oh my god.
That was impressive.
Yeah, you're right about Hadley, man. He's smooth.
But no, for me, I gotta spend just a second just driving the Hadley train because he was so good in these two games, so good. Like I said, he just makes the right play, and like Traore also to an extent does this as well. But Traore is like I think just all hustle and heart. Where Hadley's just smooth, man. He's just smooth with the ball.
Hadley can play the 1 through 4 he can play the 1 in a pinch.
In a pinch, probably. But what I was going to say is defensively, like his ability out there to switch 2 through 4 is incredible. Incredible. I mean, there were so many times where Calgary was trying to run, screen rolls, and he would just switch immediately and pick them up, and it would be no issue. No issue at all. He was good rebounding, tenacious, try to rebound. Look, there's so many good individual performances that we can all talk about. I'm sure if you ask all four of us, if you ask all 7 cast members, we're all probably going to have a one different person. But for me, the most impressive that I came away watching, I was like, man, Javon Hadley is a dude, and he can play.
If you put Javon Hadley and Traore on the court together, oh my god.
Yeah.
I did want to say, like Derek said, a lot of people say Terrence Edwards is the best player on the team. We play so together that it's not just one guy. We don't have a best player. I find it interesting because I know it's Terrence Oglesby who called the games. He had mentioned that if there's one thing he's curious about that could be a weakness is that we don't have a go-to guy when it gets tough that we need to pull games out. But my rebuttal to that, because he's far from the only one that said that. I heard that on a lot of radio shows, spaces. My rebuttal is when you're up 40 points a night, you don't have to have a go-to guy. There isn't one. Now, if some guy's just going off and you just keep giving him the ball and you're up 40 and he just keeps sinking threes, fine. But usually when you're up 40, it's because everybody's playing well. So we don't really know. I don't think we haven't had a test yet to know if there is a go-to guy or not. I do think you need one that when you're in a crunch, you can hand him the ball and say, all right, get us some buckets. And I think I'm guessing, and again, I know I've been on this train since before the games were played. I'm guessing that guy is Corn Johnson. I've seen nothing so far to make me think he's not the guy that can get a shot from anywhere on the court. He can hit the long shot. He's one of the few that's actually scored off of his own dribble, whereas everybody kind of passes and just set shots. He had a play in the game where he did a spin move on two guys and then got in between them and threw up a shot off the backboard and a layup. That was just disgusting. And he had one like that in the first game as well. So that's my guess, but we don't really know yet. But just because we haven't seen it up 40 points doesn't mean we don't have a go-to guy. We just don't. We haven't been tested yet.
So I see the comment about Coron, Jesus.
Different guy.
Corin moving to point. I mean, we saw that, and it didn't turn out great. I think he's better off ball as a 2 than he is playing the 1.
I don't disagree with you, but I thought he was a great playmaker in these 2 days.
I was gonna say his vision is very, very good. Like I think, Connor, to your point, to me, the offense looks a little more stagnant when Chucky's not out there.
Yeah.
So when Corin's kind of running it, it looks a little more stagnant. But Corin, his vision is awesome. Like he can
be
really
a point guard. He's not.
He
as good
could
as
really
a point guard, but he
go
could
right off the pick, drive to the basket. There was one play in particular that stood out when he did that, and he got in the air and threw a pass out to Kenai Ruths, and Kenai hit a 3. Like his vision is really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many. There's so many like good performances. It's like
you can't really argue
about every guy.
You can't argue like, well, this player's definitely better than that player. Like I can't sit here and be like, well, Corn's definitely better than Chucky Hepburn, who
Rain's the best shooter in the world,
and he does provide lockdown defense. But then you can't also argue Chucky's better than Corn when Corn can get you a bucket anytime.
Right.
The same thing with like Kadir and Hadley. Hadley's smooth and always makes the right play. But then Kadir's athleticism combined with his ability to just get 28 offensive rebounds a game. It's like, I don't know. It's like, obviously, as the competition gets better, we're going to see like who separates themselves, because you will have that separation as the season goes on. But after 2 games,
I mean, the Tennessee game's the second game of the year.
Yeah, Tennessee's early. That'll be a big test.
Well, I plan on being there for that one.
That's the day of my wedding, so
oh man.
Pat, you were saying?
Well, I think, we talk about separation. I think in the perfect world, and I think what Pat Kelsey's hoping for is that, yes, there's some players who separate themselves, but the separation isn't that big, because I think what Pat Kelsey wants to do is do what he did in this tournament for the most part and play, and cap guys at 23, 24 minutes so that these guys can continue to run. So I think in the perfect world, you find your 10 guys, and maybe 4, 5, 6 of them separate themselves as on the top line, but those guys below them, hopefully the separation isn't that big so that you can continue to do what we did this weekend or this week.
Yeah, so the first game of the year is November 4th. And that's the Moorhead game, and then we play Tennessee on the 9th.
It's a shame we got to wait this long.
Hurl. I never thought I'd see it either, man. UK fans at Mini UVL want a title in basketball because they don't want to give up their football win.
Because they don't want to give up their win over Iowa.
That's hilarious, man. I'm not going to get too far down, but you've seen her. I'm sure you've seen what I've been doing on Twitter, man. I'm sure you've seen the bannering. I leave no stone unturned.
Yeah. Hey,
You know.
Todd, before we get to callers, I want one more quick observation, funny observation I had from these games. So James Scott injures his wrist in the first game.
Oh,
And I love James. I love James Scott. I think he's a future pro, like a lot of people do. But he is not a good free throw shooter. But he injures his wrist in the first game, and in the second game, he has 2 free throws and he shoots them left-handed, and he makes both of them.
he's an absolute serial killer doing something like that. Shooting left-handed free throws and making them both. What kind of psychopathic behavior is that?
But the question is, because he shot 40% from the free throw line last year. Does he start shooting free throws left-handed from now on?
You have to. Just like Onuaku had to shoot the granny.
Exactly.
He might indeed have to. So listen, we're gonna keep talking. I'm gonna start posting the link. I've already posted in the chat the link to join the stream lobby. Okay, we want you guys to come in here and talk. Come in here, let us know what you think, how you feel. Don't get stream shy. Don't get camera shy. None of that. So come in here. Let us know what you think. I'm going to post it again right here. Posted it 3 times. If you don't want to show your camera, you don't have to. There's an option, but we want to hear what you got to say about Louisville in the Bahamas. So while we wait for people to join, we were talking about individual performances. Connor, who stuck out to you individually? Like, who was something that just really impressed you?
Besides knowing what Kason Pryor started as a freshman and what he is now, because I saw him when he was a freshman and he was not good, and he'll admit that he was not good. He played 12 games in 2 years, or not 12 games, 21 games in 2 years. I don't know if there's one that I can just pull out. Like, Terrence Edwards played what he needed to play. He didn't overtake the game. Chucky did exactly what he needed to do. I think this team as a whole is going to go a lot farther than what we originally thought. What our goal was, what, 17 to 19-ish wins?
No. My goal's been the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, if you win 19, you're making the tournament.
Yeah.
I don't.
Depends on how good the rest of the
Boy,
ACC
that'd be.
is.
I used to think that way, but not. It seems like anymore, especially in ACC, you got to win.
I
about
think
22
honestly,
games.
I think we could win 25, 26 games this year.
I think we can get at least 22. And I think
Yeah.
that gets us in the tournament.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I agree. And hey, we got a couple callers in here, so let's do.
Loading up.
Let's get with Derek first. We're gonna bring Derek on. Derek,
And the other
can you hear
guys
us?
sitting in the queue, just hang in there and we'll get to you.
Yeah, just hang out in there. We'll get to you. Derek, can you hear us?
Yeah. So
What's up, man?
I Phil already talked about him, but it's about Noah Waterman. So like before we even like got him here to Louisville, like the fans like at BYU always said like I think he had the lowest rating on their team when it comes to defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden now I know there's like a competition level, like, maybe it's just a competition, but he looked really good.
Yep.
Like,
I agree.
there was like one point, like he's 6'11", right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Something like that.
If you're 6'11", man, like you got to be good at defense. It's when you're 6'11", it comes easy. You can just block shots that easy.
Yeah, Derek, he had a couple. I saw someone say earlier that he had a moment where he kind of like tripped up on a play, and I remember that play. But there's a couple segments where he was moving really well like
Yeah.
on ball defensively, and like Terrence Oglesby and the other guys, they noticed it, like they saw it. So I agree that Waterman was impressive.
And like somebody's, I heard he had an injury, but I mean, I really couldn't even tell. I mean, he was playing so fluently, you know.
Yeah, and I think he had an ankle injury. So to look that fluid, like you said, that was impressive.
Yep. And then
What else?
another, the player we haven't talked about is Javon Hadley.
Now you're talking, Derek.
Man, what are y'all? I want to hear y'all's thoughts on him.
Hey, listen, I told you earlier, Javon Hadley is like the number one thing that stood out to me. I thought he was so impressive, and he's just a winner, dude. He makes all the winning plays. Like he's just in the good spots. He knows what to do when he gets the ball. He knows, where to kick it out, move the ball. He can rebound. He can shoot, defend. I mean, he does it all. He's
And,
never,
like-
to me, he's never going to get the credit that he should get because
Yeah,
it's
for
not
sure.
really flashy.
He should have gotten more credit at Colorado, but he had two guys that overshadowed him a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about that because at Colorado, like he had the lowest, like he had a very good percentage of like when he shot the ball, but he didn't shoot as much as he did as like he's doing right now.
For sure.
Yeah,
And I feel like, yeah, go
That's
ahead.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in one of our preseason shows, I said that don't expect Hadley to be as efficient as he was at Colorado because I had saw a lot of film of him the previous year where I think he shot like 20-something, 25% or something from three, and his form didn't look great from beyond the arc. So I was like, with the low percentage of shots he took from three, I think some of that was an anomaly. But watching him in those two games, man, he had a good stroke. And so I've become more confident after these two games that he'll be closer to his prior year numbers than he was to 2 years ago, which is big because it's something I wasn't really expecting to be such a big weapon from him.
Yeah, and he came from a Colorado team that I think 5 players were drafted from that team. You got Simpson, the Williams dude. I forgot. I don't really know their
Cody
names.
Williams went lottery too, I think.
Yeah, Cody Williams.
Yeah,
Colorado was stacked, and I was surprised when I saw them in the tournament. Didn't remember anything about them during the regular season, but then when I watched them, I was like, "Man, this is a fun team."
Tad
They had the
Boyle's
kid that went to Orlando too. That was good, right?
Tad Boyle's a hell of a recruiter.
yeah. It
They had a good
just
run,
it just tells you something. Like Javon Hadley was starting on that team,
right?
Yeah.
and we have that type of player. And honestly, I feel like he can be an NBA player. I don't know about y'all.
He's just solid, man. He's solid. I
He's
don't know
solid.
about NBA, but he's just solid as hell.
I think a lot of these guys. Listen, I don't think many of these guys, the upperclassmen at least, are guys that are gonna like show up on draft boards. But I think a lot of these guys are going to be guys that play in the summer league and can earn their way onto an NBA team, a two-way
Like a
contract
Carly
and
Jones
stuff.
type.
Yeah.
Carly's doing more than just playing in summer
Carly-
league.
Man, I am
Well,
surprised.
yeah, but you know what I mean. He's been mainly.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Man.
he'll earn a
Kicking
spot
ass.
now after what he's done.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. I was never expecting Carly to do that to the Team USA.
Yeah, man.
Honestly,
He
he
can-
didn't have a
he
bad
can
game
ball
the
out,
other day,
man.
and we still won by 20.
He balls out, man. Hey, Derek, thank you for coming on tonight, brother. I appreciate you. We're gonna move on to just a couple other guys, but thanks for coming on, brother. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Derek.
All right. So Derek brought the energy. Want to talk a little Javon Hadley? I'm big. I'm. You know what? I'm gonna say it. Me and Derek, we are the CEO of the Javon Hadley fan club. I'm saying it now. President and CEO. He's vice president though. Okay. We're moving on. Cardinals fan 71. Can you hear us, man?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's up?
Come on, Robbie.
All right, let me turn that down. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, this is Robbie. Hey, you guys are more macro on your analysis and everything. Excuse me, micro. But I'm on the macro side. I mean, I'm just ecstatic on what I saw. I mean, you're beating these teams by 50 points. And I understand everything y'all are talking about, but my goodness, if you don't think this team is going to get better, barring any injuries, pray to God, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I think we're going to be really tough to beat.
We
Yeah,
got a lot
I
of
agree,
weapons.
bro.
I agree with you, man. Yeah, at the not looking at all the details, like even if you just look at a box score and you look at like compared to last year and stuff, you've got to know there's something out there that's good and so much better than we've seen the past few years. So
It's
yeah, I
not
don't know
saying
how
a
you
lot.
can't be excited.
I
Cards
mean, why
fan,
wouldn't you be?
Robbie. Sorry, I was gonna say, Robbie, what stood out to you, man? What's some individual guys that stood out to you?
I just love the passing, the overall movement of the ball, like the guys driving to the hoops. I mean, PK's got so many different lineups he can play with. Like I said, you guys are more on the micro level. You can, speak to it more than I can about, pushing the ball. I just want to see a press, some damn good ass defense, and like just, oh my God, the sky's the limit, bro.
I agree, man. I
I
agree.
love the enthusiasm, man.
Yes.
I can't wait. November 4th can't come soon enough.
Robbie, how many are you gonna be at the opening game against Moorhead? You gonna be there?
No, no. I mean, I've got to space my time out with work and everything, and my
Okay.
PTO days and vacation days. But
Okay.
I'm going to be at football games. I guarantee you that.
That's right. That's right. Well, we like 30 days away, man. I'm so excited. I got season tickets. I can't wait.
We got some good
Hey,
football news. We can talk about that later too.
we can. Hey, Robbie, thanks for coming on, brother. I appreciate you, man. I got a couple other guys we want to get to, but
Hey,
thank you
thank
for
you
coming
guys for
on, man.
having me.
Yeah,
I'll keep
no
listening.
problem. No problem.
Go
Thanks,
hard.
man.
What game is he watching?
So we got Realville Sports is up. What's up, man? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What's up, man? What's up? How's it going tonight?
Not too bad, man. I'm trying to catch the delay. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We
Yeah.
can hear you. Yeah, man. Go ahead and tell us what impressed you.
Uh, the really most thing that impressed me was the um, the rotation.
Mhm.
Okay.
Great rotation from the coach. That's why I believe that we're really going to be successful this year. We don't have to worry about one person being the go-to guy because everybody's going to end up being in a position to get the ball and can make the key shot when need be. I think Pryor will be able to make a key shot. Rain Smith, Edwards, just a bunch of guys as far as on getting the rebounds, going to the boards. When the three goes up, we send like three different people to the boards. So I'm just really excited about the offensive rebound, the 3-point capabilities, and the rotation, how the coach, gets different players in and out. So we make sure we run at full speed at all times.
For sure. For sure. Hey, so in terms of individuals, is there anyone that stuck out to you any at all? Something that you were surprised by that you didn't foresee?
I was really surprised by scoring Corn, coming off the bench, doing what he did.
That's Kyle's guy.
Uh, I was looking
Really
for a
scored
little bit more out
15.
of Edwards, but I think Edwards will be able to get his when need be. He's very shifty. He really has some Carl Leak type of a game to him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's interesting with Edwards. I think the other guys are mainly their offense is thriving off spot up shooting. I'm not sure that's Terrence Edwards' game. And so it's a unique thing where he's trying to find his fit, and he's doing a good job of being a team player because
Hey
he
fellas,
built.
I'm gonna jump up off here because I still have a delay and I
Okay.
don't really know where position I'm at within this conversation. You guys doing a
Okay.
good job, man. Realville Sports Group and Facebook, man. Check us out. Thanks.
Hey,
Appreciate
thanks,
you, man.
man.
Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it. So Terrence Edwards, that is one thing I noticed. He is more of a guy who creates off of his. He's an ISO guy.
Yes.
he can create for others in a way, but it's not in the same way as just flinging the ball around it and shooting spot up or taking a couple of dribbles into the lane and then kicking it back out. He's more of an ISO guy. And I think he did a really good job in this game of not getting frustrated, because you could tell at times if you were really examining. I mean, I watched the first game 3 times. I've watched the second game live, and I didn't get to watch it as well because I was at work as well. I was kind of trying to cheat and do my assessments as I looked over at it. So I've really watched it in totality once, and I noticed in both games, he's still trying to find his groove, and I think he was very patient. He had an even better game. He didn't have a bad game 1. He was just quiet. Game 2, he did a little bit more, but you still saw some of that, and it's interesting. There is a place, though, and I think that he might end up being the guy at the end. If it's not Corin Johnson, I think Terrence Edwards at the end of games, when you get in those grinded out possession-by-possession games, you do have to slow it down sometimes. And
I think that's where
he'll
Chucky's going to come in, because Chucky played in the Big Ten for 3 years, and they had those.
Yeah.
I think, you talk about grinded out, slow it down games, and
at the end,
where you're going to need a bucket and you need a guy to break down the defense. And I do think, Corin and Terrence are probably the best 2 in that situation. But also, I think where Terrence comes in, for one, I think Terrence is going to be that guy on this team that, and you can see it through the first 2 games, that people don't talk a ton about, because for one, it's expected that he plays well. And for 2, he's one of those guys that you're like, man, what did Terrence do today? And then you look at the box score and he had 15 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds and a couple steals, but there's going to be games where we're going to play against, like a North Carolina, that's an athletic team that isn't going to let us get into our action as much, and where we're going to need a guy that can break down a defense with dribbling rather than passing.
And that's where he comes in.
And Terrence is going to be that guy against those type of teams that's going to be extremely important. And he's not going to be the only one that's going to be important in that situation, but that's where he's going to be the difference maker for us.
Terrence is definitely, like I think you said, Kyle, he's more ISO oriented. Like if you give him the ball in isolation situations, I think he'll shine a little more. And in what we saw these last 2 games, when it's really just that basic, like I said, they weren't really running sets. It was very just concept, like almost like secondary break like offense. And it was a damn near fun to watch. But come game time, real games, they're going to run more sets and plays to get Terrence the ball, and I think he'll shine a little more. But yeah, he's the one, him and Corin, when it comes to late game situations, you need a bucket. Those are the 2 that I think we're all going to look towards.
Yeah.
Chucky a little bit, but not as much as Corin and Terrence.
Right. Rain Smith too, as far as hitting big shots.
Yeah.
And he had a much better game too on the offensive end, but that's something that's a good transition. Like Rain Smith's defense gets lost. I think he plays really good defense for his build, and he's not as athletic as Corin Johnson or Chucky Hepburn, but and they talked about a lot on the broadcast how hard he's worked on, how he prides himself. I am curious to see if that translates to more athletic teams, like the out of conference schedule, some of like Tennessee, and of course the battle for Atlantis, and then you got UK and then the big games in the ACC. So will it translate to that? Remains to be seen. But I am very impressed with what I've seen by his positioning, his body on defense.
He's the best shooter in the world according to PK.
I mean, I don't know about the world, but man,
he's
a top 5 shooter in college basketball, if you ask me.
I mean, his form is impeccable, man.
It's no secret that in that first game he did not shoot it well, but I think I think maybe Oglesby said it or somebody that they shouldn't, or actually no, it was Lightsey. I watched Lightsey give his recap. He said, "Don't look into it too much. It's a different setting. Like I don't want to make excuses
Shooting in a
for him, but
ballroom is hard.
it's a ballroom. The depth perception, it's a little different when you're a world class shooter like that. Those things matter. They do, and I think he'll definitely improve, and he will show his shot. I think someone said earlier in the chat, there's going to be a game where he hits like 7, 8, 9 threes. And
I'd like to know how many he hit versus miss in the second game, because I feel like he was right around 40%, if I had to guess, maybe even higher than that. Like he hit more shots, I thought.
He was 3 of 6.
So 50%.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
And he doesn't shoot twos, man. I don't think he shot a two this whole.
If you shoot 5 or more threes, it had to be 6. If you shoot 6 threes and you hit 50% a game, that's good.
I mean, think about it this way: like there may be games that he goes 2 for 8 from 3, but then there's also going to be games that he's going to go 6 for 8,
7 of 8, yeah.
And you got to think about too. These guys, once it gets into the season, these guys aren't going to be lifting anymore. Right now, these guys are lifting every day. And for a shooter, it's incredibly hard to be consistent with your shot when you're lifting weights on a daily basis.
I thought about this too. When we go to battle for Atlantis, we have an advantage already playing in that ballroom this summer. And then Rain will know how he needs to set up his shot and all that kind of stuff.
Be able to make the adjustments
for November.
Yep.
Well, it's funny. This is kind of a side note, but you think about like environments and where you shoot and like depth perception and stuff. And if you go back to the NBA bubble, think about without the depth of a big time basketball arena, how well those players shot in just a small gym. And that'll kind of like prove to you like how much different environments and the depth of a certain place can affect the shooting.
It matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, this fan base needed this. This fan base needed this. And it might sound silly to other people. Look, I know we got UK fans watching this shit. I know we got other fans watching this. I know it sounds silly, but we needed this for these 2 exhibition games. This provided so much positive, feelings, energy, momentum. These last 3 years of Louisville basketball, there's no selling it short. They've been terrible. Record-setting terrible. Depressing. It's been horrible. And to see what we saw in just exhibition games has provided so much positivity. There's people are excited. We're excited to talk basketball in July again. I remember last year in July, I told you guys, I said, I don't want to talk basketball. I don't care. I don't want to talk basketball. I wanted to talk football, and that was it. So to be here in August, July, this excited about Louisville basketball, it's a great feeling. I can't wait for the season to start. Guys, I'm going to give you guys one last final thought as we wrap up here. Kyle, what do you think?
I'm kind of bummed it's over. I'm glad we got to see it because you usually don't in July or in August, but I'm bummed it's over. And I'm hyped for football now. There was a lot of updates today about football, so I'm excited to get into that as we do future episodes.
Patrick, what do you think?
Yeah, no, the break is going to be hard, like Kyle said, but I'm excited to see, when it comes to when we get practice and we get like whether it's Louisville Live or a scrimmage, to see the difference between now and a month and a half from now and what that looks like. How much further have we developed on this great start? But yeah, man, I mean, it's fun to talk basketball again. I mean, listen, last year at this point, we had media day and football today. We would have been talking about football the whole episode and might have mentioned that Terrence Flowers quit the team or something like that.
God, there's
So
much
Play the
shit
video.
going
Do we
on.
have the video?
so to be able to talk about basketball and be excited about basketball in August when football camp is starting, that's what Louisville's about. And it's not to take away from football because all of us here are excited about football, but when Louisville's going good and the Louisville that I grew up on, you know, you're talking about basketball in the summer as you're getting ready for football and you're getting excited for both of them at the same time. And for the first time in like, I don't know, 6-7 years, I feel that way.
Oh yeah,
Connor.
Louisville Live is a good point, man.
Louisville Live better be in the Yum Center because if
It
it's
is.
not, it's going to be a tough ticket to get.
Or I think
Yeah.
it is. I think it's going to be in the boys. I guess I shouldn't guarantee that, but it sounds like from people that are pretty connected that aren't me, but they relay that to everybody else. Sounds like it could be in the
It's got to be because you're going to have
A ton of
that.
people.
I'll say it today. I all but guarantee it. That place will be sold out.
That would be pretty insane. Like that would be such a huge, like
I
such
think
a
if they
huge.
do it the right day and time, Connor, I think it'll be sold out.
Yeah.
But if they try to pull like a Monday night at 9, like that TBT,
Oh my God! Yeah, please don't.
which I mean, we loaded up for Freedom Hall, but I don't think you're going to pack the Monday night at 9.
I'm not gonna lie. 4th Street Live was a really cool environment, and then I went to the one at Churchill, and that was also really dope.
Slugger Field was terrible.
Slugger.
I
I don't want to. Okay, I don't want to go back.
We're
I
not
don't wanna
going to the
wait.
older
Yeah,
Z.
let's not do it. But Connor, your final thoughts.
Hey, I don't
Wrap it
know
up.
if it'd be sold out either. I'm kind of with that guy, but
I
Saturday
think-
night maybe. Maybe
I mean, there's the Yum Center is a big arena, man.
it is.
Well-
I'll go with 17.
If they
Oh.
do the marketing, they would have to market the shit out of it.
But that's where I'm about to go.
I'll
PK
go
gets
with
it.
17 or 18.
PK gets it, and he knows how to market a team.
I'd put the
Have
line
it on. I mean, like you all said, have
17
it
point.
on like
I'm
a
putting the
Friday,
line at
Saturday night.
17.5. 17.5. That's where I'm putting it.
But PK gets it, and it's so refreshing to have a coach that actually cares about basketball.
Mhm.
Like they went to not Battle for Atlantis. We're going to that. They went to the Bahamas for the summer for 2 games, and they were there for 5 days, 6 days, or whatever. And he said, "I haven't been out of my room once. I've been watching film." Like, could you imagine Kenny coming out and say, "Oh, I've been watching film for 4 days"?
Connor just can't help himself. Shit, not kidding on the way out, but I agree.
I totally I feel a lot better about where we are now than where we were, I guess, 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think this year it won't be the special that we want it to be, win national championship, but I think it'll be special.
10K. Come on, man.
Bro, if you think 10K are showing up,
That's
10K
Monday at
still
9
get there.
p.m. and we'd still get more than 10K probably. We'd probably get 12 or 13. But you do it on a Saturday night, you market it right. I'm putting the line at 17.5.
Friday or Saturday night. Yeah.
If we
If
can
you
get
do it
above
away
that,
football
great.
weekend, do it on a weekend that football's away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Timing, marketing, that's going to be the wave, but we'll see.
They're on a high right now, so it would make sense to push it out soon, which I think we're going to hear something next week. I'm just guessing based on the way people are hinting around. Nobody said that, so I don't want to. If I'm wrong, fine. But I think we get something next week about this event.
I
We
agree.
need the momentum.
Boys, this has been fun. I know you guys you guys know everything that I've been going through the last 3 weeks with the baby and all that. And thank you guys for holding it down. Thank you guys for all the hard work you do with this show. And I want to thank the chat and everybody for tuning in. Thank you for everyone who reached out and congratulated me. Of course, 3 weeks ago, my baby boy was born. So it's been a whirlwind so far, but I can't thank you guys enough for all the congratulations and the well wishes, and it feels good to be back. And I look forward to doing this every Friday again. So that's about it, guys. We're gonna wrap it up. And
ARE, the line is 17.5.
17.5 over under.
So
Mark
next
it down.
week, are we laying out what we're gonna do next week?
Yeah, so me and Connor are going to talk about some college football 25 stuff. Obviously, basketball is now kind of wrapped up for the next few months, so we're into football. So we're going to do some more college football 25 stuff starting next week. We'll kind of figure that out, talk about it, game plan it. We might play some on stream. We need to every single one of us took out a second mortgage. We all have capture cards, and we might be running some games on stream.
I need to actually start playing the game again.
I think me and you should play each other, Kyle, on the stream because I think we both suck.
Nobody want that unless they want a blooper reel, bro.
What do you mean? It's going to be like 195 because nobody.
Yeah, it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah. It'll be the only defense will be pick sixes.
That's true. That's true.
So, hey, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Like and subscribe if you like and hear what you like and see and all that good stuff. Like and subscribe. We're on the road to 2K now. We're on the road to 2K. So help us out. Help us out there. We appreciate you guys. Go Cards. Go Krogering for Ross.